how easy it is to make it. So here we go. Just wanted to show you the dies. This is the die, the Stampin' Up! Die. So we're going to use this die. I've actually cut out some ahead of time so I wouldn't have to make the video too long. But we're going to use this die, of course, the main die. And then the only other die I used here is this die right here to make the edges of the basket. So you'll need that. I used an 1/8 of an inch thick score tape on my baskets. You could use a 1/4 inch. The 1/8 of an inch works just fine. So, and you could also use, I have a thin line glue that I've used sometimes. On this basket I use mostly score tape. And I did, on the edges of the decorative paper, I did use a little bit of Distress ink from Tim Holtz, just to make it look a little, give it more depth. But that's pretty much what you need for tools. So let me show you, of course, you cut out 2 of the dies, just the way you normally would when you're putting together the box. Once you've cut that, I did go and kind of bend some of my the score lines down. Since I'm using 110-pound weight paper, I wanted to do it ahead of time because it takes some muscle. On this one I bent. You can see here I also did some bending, but you're going to cut off, and you can just use your scissors and cut off, I did it ahead of time, cut off this particular piece. Don't throw it away because you're going to use it later, but you're going to cut that off. And then on this piece that we've done the scores on here, the only thing you're going to cut off on this piece are these 2 bottom flaps. So you've got your top flaps here, those all stay, and you want the side ones on this, but we're going to cut off the bottom tabs, I guess you call them tabs. Cut off those 2. So you're left with the top piece, and of course these score lines, but no tabs on this bottom piece. And so on this one that we've cut off, we cut off this, cut that off, and again, just a hand. You're going to leave these tabs on, but you're going to cut off the ends on this piece. And I think you would do that anyway when you're putting together the box. You have to cut off these tabs to put the box together, but for the basket you have to do the same thing. So we're left with these tabs here on the ends, nothing along the bottom. And this one we've cut off the top and we just have the 2 tabs on the bottom. Now I have not, I want to fold these because we are going to use these. So you would fold them down, and so that's what we're using to move to the next section. Now at this point I've already done this. You can see I've got that tab, these 2 tabs are here. I've put score tape, that 1/8 of an inch score tape there. I also decorated mine now because I find it easier to do it now. You can do it anytime you want, but the crucial thing here is when you look at this, this is the bottom of the box. This is the top. You're not going to have a top, it's up here. You're going to have just the bottom of the box. So when you're putting decorative paper on, if it has direction to it, you're going to want to make sure you don't put it on upside down, because once you write the basket you want it to be correct. So just keep in mind that this is the bottom of the box. You want to keep that in mind too, and you can see I've put the decorative paper on here. So when you're putting these 2 pieces together, the tabs are going to be used on the bottom of the box. So when you join them, make sure the tabs that you have are facing this piece. I've done it wrong, so I want to mention it because I at one point put it on like this. That won't work. You have to make sure your tabs are facing this big piece here. So I'm going to do that now and join. You want to make sure that it's in line because this piece together is the top of the basket. So you don't want a crooked, which is always my problem, is I get it on crooked. So you want to do that, and then you're going to join, take the tape off and join the other end. I got a little bit hanging over there. and join the other end. Trying to make sure that you have a straight line on this top, because that is the top of your basket. So now you have the beginning of your basket. You know how easy that was? Really easy. So now we want to put together the base, and I start out pulling the tape off. As you put tape on each of these tabs, it's kind of like one at a time, just to make sure it's going in the right direction. You can go in and, you know, burnish it a little bit to make sure that sticks. Lifting up, it gets a little tougher as you go along, because obviously you got to tuck this corner piece in and then pull your tape off and line it up. Again, tougher as it goes along because you're getting, it's just tighter. So tucking this piece, this corner tab in first. When I get to here, I kind of like to make sure the corner pieces are tucked in, so that all you're doing is pulling off the tape and tucking that in right there. And I'm going to pull that down so that I can get that in. But you see how tight it is, so you want to make sure you have enough room to pull off the tape, both sides. To me, this is the hardest part of putting the basket together. Of course, I cut my fingernails off, so I don't have any nails to do it. I think that'll work. And now you have the base. So I do go around and burnish the inside of my basket, making sure that it works. Then I take the piece that we cut off, and I cut off these extra, you know, wherever it's scored, you want to cut them off so that you're left with this. And then you just put that in the base to make the bottom of your basket. Just makes it look pretty so you don't see all the, gives it a little bit more strength too. You can do that or not, it's up to you. Now as far as the ridges, or the edges, I love this particular die. I use decorative paper for this one. Just cut out 6 of them. I scored it 1/4 inch on your scoreboard or whatever you have, 1/4 inch in, and you know, fold it. And then I put 1/8 of an inch of score tape, and then I just go in and line that up, making sure it fits. Give it a squeeze. And that's how you put all of those on. It really, I did use cardstock on a couple of them, but I ended up liking them really with just the decorative paper. It really didn't need to have, you can of course use cardstock and then put decorative paper on the cardstock, but it was more work, and this was just as easy. Let me bring these down. And I think it came out just as pretty. This paper that I have, I'm trying to remember where it was in my stash, and I had it left over, I think, from last year, and I thought, I want to use that. A really cute paper with bunnies all over it, so appropriate for Easter. So give it a squeeze, and this also, when you use this for the edge, it makes a nice border. I'll show you here in just a sec, on the inside. And so it does, as you can see, it overlaps a little, but when you push it down, look what a nice top it makes. Even though it overlaps here in some places, it's just kind of a nice, and then the border on the inside I think is pretty as well. It gives you a little bit of a border. Now for the handle, I cut a strip of cardstock. This is 3/4 of an inch by 11 inches, and this is a 1/2 inch by 10 3/4. And then I added score tape to it. Again, you could use glue or whatever you guys like to use. I like score tape sometimes because my... Hi guys, my camera died. I didn't realize I'd run out of time quite so soon, but let me just finish up. We just finished putting together the strap for the basket. And what I do at this point is I actually use 1/4 inch of the score tape and put that on the inside of the basket, you know, opposite each other. I didn't realize how close I was in my recording. I haven't done a video in quite a while, so I'd like to get back into doing some. So this was just like a good effort, but I can see that I need to lower my, or raise my camera a little. I've actually ordered a new camera that hasn't come yet, and I'm hoping that it will tape longer video so I don't have to worry about it running out. So if I can get this done, I would love to show you how I put the handle on. I use score tape here. I should burnish it so it'll come off easier. I put it midpoint on one of the sections across from each other. And this part is easy too. You just set it in and pull that score tape off. Get my messy area. Then I just set this in to catch the score tape, making sure it's straight, and do the same right across the way. And set that down. The score tape just helps you center it and make it straight. But I use my little pokey tool here to make a hole on the outside, being careful not to get your fingers when you do that. And I use one of Stampin' Up's brads to just give it a little extra security there. And if that didn't work, I gotta make it bigger. So that, you know, I love score tape, but I always like to make sure I'm not putting a lot in here. Just the just a bunny and a few eggs, I think. But you still want to make sure that it works pretty good. So that pretty much is it. I put one on one side. I'll go ahead and put one on the other. But that's your basket. I hope that helps you. Sorry, again, my first video in quite a while, so I apologize for any blurriness and being too close. Hopefully the next time that'll work out a little better. But let me know if you have any questions. Have a great day.